Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Bootcast podcast. With my hair today, I am your host, Machine Gun Kelly. That's what I feel like right now. And as always, I'm with my fellow co-host, Colby. Colby, how are you today?
I'm doing good, man.
Oh, that's it. Well, normally you lead that up with like a whole story and you go into the spiel and you're just
no, I have a story. So I don't know if you saw my story. It was I went to that Cosm place in it's the Colony. It says Cosm Dallas. It's in the Colony. It's in this place called Grandscape. It's we went to go watch, my buddies and I, the Liverpool Chelsea game.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've never been to one of
TV, right?
Yeah, if you've never been to one of these places, it's kind of like when you were a kid and you went to the Omni Theater and it was like this big dome and you got to watch some crazy like whale movie or something. But this is like a Premier League game. I don't know what the contractual negotiations are, but it was at Anfield, and so they had cameras positioned at different parts of the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So like you'd have like your corner view, you kind of had like your like middle of the field view, which is, it kind of looks like you're playing a game of FIFA, and then they had two cameras just behind the goal on the goal line.
Mm-hmm.
And so while you're watching it, it's just this huge dome, and you're like flipping from view to view to view. So at first it's a little disorienting, right? Like I'm trying to kind of get my footing here of like, you're trying to like, because you're watching basically like the mid view, the FIFA, and then it'll switch to the goal line, and you're like, okay, where did the ball go, or a corner? And so like, and after a while, I was like, I wish they would just like, this is cool, but just keep it on the same view, because it's almost just taking me out of it more than it's immersing me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's almost jarring how much it jumps. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is cool because when the players score, like the whole, like if Liverpool scored, like you'd get the outlines like going red at the very top. You could see like the Liverpool logo. It was pretty legit. Like it was a good experience. It was probably a little too much money. It was like, I think it was $80 for my seat.
Oh wow.
I know. Yeah, probably won't do it again. But yeah, it was a cool experience.
Yeah, it's just definitely one of those like cool things to be like, yeah, I did it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll probably never do it again, but I'm glad I did it at least once.
Right. Exactly.
Well, very cool, man. I'm glad that you had fun. I have a sick toddler all weekend, so I've just been dealing with that, and you know what that's like.
Yeah, dude, I'm waiting. I'm like waiting my turn, for like the kid sickness.
Oh yeah.
Like, I've heard some schools are getting blown out by some stomach bugs and stuff, which are the worst, because you know you're going to get that. Like if your kid comes home with the stomach bug and you're a new parent, like you're going to get it. Just like you can do everything possible. You can wash your hands, you can wash all the stuff. You probably already got it.
You already have it. By the time they have it, you have it.
That's right, bro. You better get your affairs in order, because it's done. It's done.
Yeah, luckily for us, it was just he had 2 ear infections. So not fun for him, but he's golden now. He's living his best life.
Nice.
So, yeah. So let's get into this, man. It's been a little bit of I feel like we're kind of in the slow season, Like I feel like a lot of brands are starting to kind of tone things down, ramp it down a little bit, just kind of finish out the year before they get ready for their next one. So nothing crazy. But there's a boot that caught your eye in probably one of the worst way possibles. And we're talking about the Nike Premier 4.
Yeah.
You woke up at like 6 a.m. to send me these messages. I wasn't even awake yet, and I woke up and Colby was pissed, and I saw these. I was like, oh, wow. Okay, so he's mad about these. So let's talk about this.
Okay, we'll get this out of the way. But like we had already talked about, right? We were like, okay, what's it going to be? It's going to be Kangalite. It's going to be Fly Touch Plus. Well, we come to find out it's going to be Fly Touch Plus technology, which is the exact same thing they use on the Tiempo Legend 10, which isn't a bad technology. Like, it's actually pretty soft. It's pretty nice. But it's like, okay, so it's the same thing, right? So essentially, you're giving me a boot that's got knit. It's a little bit more narrow, and then you're giving me a more classic fit on probably a worse sole plate, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And then I saw I'm assuming this is going to be the launch colorway, because it's going along with the same Mad Voltage pack that we have right now.
Yep.
And if you look at it, it looks like, to me, when I saw the picture, it looked like almost a takedown of like a Legend 5 or something. Like there's a particular colorway they had in mind where it's like black with Volt.
Yeah.
And it it looks cheap to me, man. And I hate it. And I saw what the price point was going to be. It's going to be like $120. So, on the entire scale of things, like it is a cheaper boot. But for that same price in the prior model, you were getting kangaroo leather, and that was the biggest selling point of the boot.
Yeah. I don't really have much to add, just because like, okay, this might hurt some people's feelings or not. I don't really know how to put this nicely, but it's like, I don't give a shit about the premiere at all. I didn't care about it in the premiere 1. I didn't care about it in the 2, the 3, or now the 4. So it's just like, I'm like, oh, cool. In my opinion, and this is the only way I know how to word it, you made a shitty boot even shittier.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know what to say to that. You know what I mean? It's like, there's certain people, like, I know that you're kind of like hoping for it, but it's just like, yeah, like, Nike has made it abundantly clear that they don't want to use leather, and they're just taking everything out to the pasture like old Yeller, and they're just putting a shotgun right to its head, and they're getting rid of it. And and it's unfortunate, but it's just like, it's like I can't even be mad anymore, because it's just like the Tiempo Legend Legend 10 is already kind of a subpar boot. The Premier, in my opinion, the Premier 3 is already subpar. So now you're gonna make it what is subpar of subpar? What do we call it? Quarter par?
Quarter par.
Is that what this boot's going to be?
Something. We're definitely we're hitting the negatives here, man. It's just mind blowing to me. I'm like, because what do you sell people on? Like who? Like I know this is something we bring up all the time. It's who is this for? And truly, who is this boot for? I don't know. I think it's just one of those, like, this is the last one we're gonna do. We'll probably put out one colorway for every 3 packs, because I think that's what New Balance does with this 442. To be fair to Nike, is New Balance will come out with a colorway for like both of its Tequila and Furon model, and then maybe every 3 colorways the 442 gets a colorway. So I'm assuming that Nike will do the same thing for this, or it'll be delayed, kind of like this Mad Voltage, where it's like we got the 3 main colorways, and then like 3 weeks later, we're gonna give the Premier its own colorway. And
yeah, they could do that. I mean, sometimes, though, even like with the Premier 3, I don't remember if you remember a couple months ago, they kind of like bombed out like 3 Premier colors at the same time, where they did like the white and black as an ode to the Legend 5. They did the silver, and then they did the white and green. So they kind of like, they have a very weird cadence with the Premier, and I don't know its strategy. But the only thing that I'll say that Nike is smart about the Premier, that I think that Adidas misses out with the Gloro and New Balance misses out with the 442, is the Premier is available at like basic entry level like sportswear places like Academy or Dick's, whatever. They always have a Premier. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that New Balance misses out with the 442 is, like, I don't know anywhere that you can get the 442 except for like a specific soccer shop maybe, or online.
Right.
And then the Gloro is kind of the same thing.
And I guess that is a good strategy to sell, because like a lot of my buddies, like, they don't buy high-end boots. Like I just had a buddy tell me the other day, he was like, I've never seen anybody switch cleats as much as you. And I'm like, I'm sorry, bro.
You're like, you should meet my buddy Justin.
Yeah, I'm like, this is just a lifestyle choice at this point. But no, we had a game, for instance, last Friday. They had to have turf shoes. It's an outdoor field, but it's turf, and the place requires that you wear turf shoes. And so I'm like, oh, what do I get? So they all went to Academy, and they bought like baseline Academy, like literally like Nike Academy shoes.
Yeah.
So so like you said, like, that's a great strategy. If this is the boot you see at any kind of lower store, it's like maybe on sale for $100, maybe less than $100. Yeah, I'll pick it up. That's a high quality boot. It's better than all these other like takedown models.
Well, and I think too that honestly the thing with the Premier is with the price point that it's at, and I think that the people that are kind of, I don't want to say tempted to buy it, but would buy it, are people that are still stuck in the early 2000s where high-end boots were maybe $125 to $150. So you see $120 and they're like, oh yeah, that's like good. Because like, I've told my dad what I spent on some of my boots, and he's like, absolutely not. And then
for sure.
I got my Predator MIGs, and I took my sister a picture, and she's like, oh, dope. She was like, how much you pay for those? And I was like, oh, I got them at retail. They're only $300. And she was like, I got mine brand new when they came out for like $125 back in the day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's like, we're so old. But I think that that's one of those kind of things where it's just expensive enough to where people who don't really know boots and aren't boot heads like us will be like, oh, that's a good boot. Look at the price. But it's also cheap enough that they'll be like, okay, yeah, I'll spend the money and get those. You know, like, oh, it's a premium product compared to, the Academies or whatever. But
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. If you don't, well, what's weird in my mind is how I justify prices for some things but not others. Like I've been looking for it's like a PlayStation Portal device, like something I can play, like scary video games on. My kids can't see it, like I can keep playing. But it's like $200. I'm like $200. I'm not paying $200 for that. But yet I'll go drop like $300 on some like new messy boots or something. Like it's stupid.
yeah, no, I totally get it. And then it's just like the same. Like sometimes if I like a boot, I'm like, oh, $350? Yeah, no problem.
Right.
But if I don't like the boot, I'm like, who the hell would pay that?
Exactly.
Like, absolutely not.
Yeah. Well, it's understanding the value of like what something is, right?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a collector's mindset. Like you are the Texas Cleat collector. Like you know ball.
I know ball. I do know ball. Oh, you know what I know about, Colby? Well, there's some things I know about and there's some things I don't know about. And the thing that I don't know about is what was your jersey pick this week?
Dude, I think you're gonna like this one. So,
Okay.
What was the run Real Madrid had? I think it was 17-18, right? 17-18. Real Madrid is playing Juventus in the Champions League, and Ronaldo does his famous overhead kick, and all the Juventus fans start clapping. Do you remember that kit? It was
of course. It's the blue.
It's like the Real Madrid 17-18.
That's the third kit.
The third kit. Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's like the tealish blue with the darker blue on the. I have that. It's in the bedroom.
Oh, you have the Ronaldo on the back and everything?
Of course, I have all. That's okay. So starting from 13-14 until he went to Juve, I pretty much have every like home, away, third jersey, like all the way through.
You'd keep it up. So the funny thing about that season, and I hate Real Madrid this season because they made it all the way to the final in 2018.
That's when Bale did the bicycle kick on y'all.
Right in the final. Against Loris Karius, who that was the worst final ever, dude, because that was the same final that Sergio Ramos like dislocated Mosala's shoulder. He has to get off. Loris Karius like completely loses it. I'm pretty sure he gets like a concussion or something.
Didn't he have like multiple concussions that game?
Yeah, he had to keep playing, and then Bale does his overhead kick and justifies like why he's an amazing player, even though like all the fans like hate on him. It's just nuts.
Yeah,
but I'll respect the Ronaldo
final.
kit. Yeah,
thanks, bro. Thank you. That's a great shout. Great shout, man. You know, Chris is gonna be real happy because you just keep picking Madrid after Madrid kit. Like you give me props on my Torres kits, but I started thinking you might be a closeted Madrid fan.
Yeah, unless they beat us in the final, like I like pulling for Madrid.
Yeah, no, Madrid's dope. Okay, mine total left field shout, and you're gonna be like, what? But then when I tell you why, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. For me, I went with 2005, 2006 Celtic home shirt. So naturally, white and green stripes. You know, nothing super crazy about that. Carling on the front sponsor. But the reason that I went with this kit specifically is because this is like the couple month stint that Roy Keane played at Celtic post United.
He only did it for a couple months.
Yeah, he only did it for a couple months. He's like,
what happened to him?
He's just like, I'm retiring. Like, F this. He was just like, I don't feel like I'm up to par. Like, it's not fair, blah, blah, blah. And he just didn't. He was pissed. But I love Roy Keane. I love everything about Roy Keane. So I thought I'd give a left field shout to the final jersey he wore of his career.
That's pretty awesome. You know what's really cool about these Celtic kits, like these kind of kits, is every now and then, because there's like Celtic is a club up in North Texas, and they'll pull these out, like kind of these classic like green and white stripes, which is pretty cool. I mean, most of the time, like the clubs kind of follow suit of what the actual team is wearing in that current season, right? But like for Celtic, like they'll sometimes just have like a plain black, plain green, and then like some of the older kids will have. So like I'll see those out at like club tournaments and stuff, which is pretty cool. So that is like when I saw that, this is the first thing it reminded me of.
Yeah, for sure. It's I know there's like a Dortmund academy and a Liverpool academy and all that too.
Yeah, we got everything up here. Like literally, there's so many clubs in North Texas. It's wild. Yeah.
But so random shout, Roy Keane, love him to death. That's my jersey pick this week.
Awesome, man. Yeah, good pick. Good shout.
Thanks,
man.
bro. Okay, so while we're on the topic of Roy Keane, we have seen many leaks, okay? And we've been kind of going back and forth. And there's this new boot that we heard and caught wind of, and it's supposed to be David Beckham's pred for this generation. But then the more that I saw pictures and sent them to you, and we kind of went back and forth, now we're not entirely sure that it's a Beckham pred. It
Right.
definitely has the Adidas, what is it, treefoil logo? Is that
Treefoil.
what it's called? So, yeah, so I'm sure you'll throw the image up on screen.
Yeah.
It's got the blue tongue, treefoil logo, and the stripes are made of treefoil, and it looks like treefoil's all on the sole plate. But the main thing that I noticed and that we were talking about was this could be a Fusionskin Predator. How do you feel about that?
Man, dude, I'm so emotional about this because I legit thought I missed out on one of like the best boots of 2024, and I was really bummed about it. Like the more you talk about the Rotero, I'm like, I was there, and you told me you were like, buy this boot, and I was like, no, dude, it's ugly. I hate like the down the middle, different colors. I can't stand that. And this boot is awesome. Like, and I told you off pod, I don't care if this is related to David Beckham. I don't care. We saw those creases. And if they release another Rotero style boot, I'm buying it. Like, no question.
So the more that I look at it, the less I'm thinking this is going to be a Beckham colorway. I think that Beckham pink colorway that we saw for the next gen, I think that's kind of when they'll do something, and maybe they'll do a remake along with that. I just think it kind of goes more hand in hand, or they might do, because the pictures kind of remind us of the what is it? The fingerprint Beckham pulses.
Yeah. Yep.
So those kind of could go hand in hand.
Well, what's interesting about this model is before we found out it was the treefoil logo, and I don't even think it has the rubber elements on the tongue of that, so it might actually not be related to Beckham at all. But Footy Headlines did a mock-up where they put that classic Beckham logo on the tongue, and so since then that's been sort of axed, and that Beckham logo looks like it's going to be on the pink 2025 ones that you're talking about. Yeah. So, and now we're seeing that it's like the treefoil logo, and not only is it the treefoil logo there, but it's on the stripes as well. I think as well as on the bottom of the sole plate. So, like, it may just be an Adidas style shoe, like unrelated to Beckham.
Yeah, I definitely, and that's kind of where I'm tempted to go, because I don't even know if, even if it is a Beckham colorway, like, he hasn't put that logo on anything. He didn't put it on his Edge or LZ colorways. He didn't do it on any of the Precision. So I don't know if maybe that's been retired at this point. Same thing, he didn't put it on the white Precisions. You remember they just did the DB. So I don't know even if it is a Beckham that they would use that logo. But the thing that throws me off is the treefoil, because that's more of their lifestyle brand. So I'm wondering if this just might be kind of like the what was that Copa Mundial, the Spezial? I wonder if this is kind of like something like that, where it's kind of like, hey, here's this pred, but it's kind of got some lifestyle elements. That's why it doesn't have like the rubber elements on the side. Is maybe it's just supposed to be like, it looks like a pred, but it's kind of more just like a weird little fun boot that we did, like the Spezial was.
Right. As long as it can be Spezial, it can be lifestyle, it can be whatever. If they do Fusionskin, like it's a no-brainer to buy. Because I think we've talked about before, with these certain different materials on the same, like, I guess the same mold and the fit of boot, like, it just can be so much more comfortable or so much more accommodating to foot shape. Like, for instance, I know you've got the Rotero, but like, I've been trying to break in these Messies, which are a heck of a lot more comfortable out of the box than, just dropped one of my boots, of like the OG F50s, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's the same thing with what I was going through with the Predator, where I was trying to break in those whiteout ones like week after week after week, and I'm like, Justin, I love these. It's just like right here on my pinky toe, dude. Every time I got a bad hot spot there, bad blisters. And you were telling me with the Roteros, like that room is accounted for. Like, you get a little bit more give, and it makes it a bit more comfortable and wider and just like better, I guess, accommodated to your foot shape.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that's going to be weird to me is, again, we don't know what this is, and I can't see the inside of the boot. Is like, okay, what would you think? You know, this is just me throwing a random thought out there. Okay, so let's say it's just like the Rotero, but you know how we were talking about how we didn't see the rubber elements on the tongue? What if it doesn't have rubber elements at all? Would you still? Are you like, it's still no brainer? Or then you're like, well, that kind of makes the Predator not the Predator.
See, I've never been a pred head like you, so I don't have this like nostalgic or expectation of what a Predator should be, right? If it's like Tiempo or like, a different style Nike boot, maybe. But I think I was telling you, like, when I was expecting for the Predator with the rubber elements initially to just give me so much of a different strike on the ball or a different curve, and It was basically like the same. So I really don't think it wouldn't be that big of a deal to me.
Okay.
Is what I'm getting at.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious because, like some people like, oh, it doesn't have this. Like, nope, I'm not doing it. Oh, it doesn't have that. Like, nope, not doing that. So I just was curious as somebody who, like, genuinely has no ties to the pred. If you're like, oh, well, I want the fusion skin, but you didn't give me the elements, so like, I might still be out. Because then at that point, you're kind of like at a glorified Copa or like a glorified almost messy boot in a way.
Kind of, but I really like that control frame 2.0. I think it's a great sole plate, and so like just to have something leather on top of that with like a cool aesthetic of having a tongue sounds pretty cool to me.
Yeah, like a Mania.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that'd have been great.
If only you told me to get that, idiot.
So well, time will tell. I'm excited to see kind of how Adidas kind of caps off the year. Like we talked about last week, we gave them lots of flowers. They've knocked it out of the park. It's like I just want to see them like finish strong with this one. You know what I mean? And so, but yeah, I'm still looking forward way more to the 20. Like I'm at this point, I think I'm done with the 24. Like I'm like, okay, I probably wouldn't buy anything even unless it's like a Beck's colorway. But even then, I think I'd rather just wait and get the red ones or the pink ones or even the black ones or white ones that we've seen. Like, there's a lot that's coming down the pipeline that I'm like, I'd rather have those.
Yeah. In terms of coming down the pipeline, Justin, the Bad Bunny boots were on the feet of the your favorite ever player, Messi, and he scored a hat trick in them. I don't care, man. I saw those on feed. I know a lot of people are. What's funny is I feel like the more I see the real life pictures of those, I'm like, I'm out. Like when I first saw like the original ones, I was like, oh, that actually looks pretty cool. And then when they came out like brown, like we had talked about,
they're brown.
Even on the feet of Messi, I was like, nah, man, I'm out. I've checked out of this,
dude.
This boot entirely.
I don't know what everybody's got like a raging hard on for those boots is right now. They just look. They're just brown. They're just brown. They look like clogs, bro. Like they're not good-looking boots. I'm sorry, they're not.
Yeah, but I just want to bring that up that he did debut them and he did score a hat trick in them, so they probably will sell out right away. Dude, these sold out so fast because I got my my original 9.5s. I talked to several people. I talked to our buddy Matt Burns. Go check him out at Burns Boots on Instagram, and I think he does TikTok as well. Footloose, talked to Footloose, and kind of decided to go like true to size, which like it fits pretty good. A little bit of length here at the toe. So I just, out of curiosity, after I got these, I went back online and looked at all my usual websites for a 9. And dude, like I think there was one, maybe 2 sites that still had a 9 and a 9.5
really
left. Yeah, these were gone.
See, I didn't keep up with them at all. But it's weird that those came out and then he immediately just turned around and wore the Bad Bunnies.
I mean, hey, it's a good it's a good selling tactic by Adidas because what they're doing is they're giving him like a week or two ahead of when like the general public can get the boots, and so we're all hyped for this. And now he's on the next ones, and then the cycle will continue because I've already seen that there's 2 other colorways of these, which it's super comfortable. It's a good boot. I still I'm not a huge fan of the burrito tongue. I wish they had gone, but they have to make it just like how Messi has it.
Yeah, as close to it as they can.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll never understand that brown one. Like, that thing's like you couldn't give that to me for free. I'd be like, no thanks. Like, just keep it. Like, despite my hate for Messi, like let's get away from
that. Put that aside, right?
Yeah, just strictly talking about the boots. I'm just like, no. It's just it's not for me. I'm not impressed. Yeah, there's nothing I can say. I'd rather wear that Premier 4 we were talking about than those boots.
Oh man, no,
yeah,
dude,
that's me.
The
that's
sole
where
plate.
I'm at.
Come on, keep this sole plate's so good.
Don't care.
Anyways, had to let you know that though. Thanks, I know
bro.
Those will sell out because these are already freaking gone.
Oh, that's what
in the
I
good
wanted
sizes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I wanted to talk to you about was what did you think about Jude's boots being available for so long and like so many people we know got them like the next day?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Do you think it's Predator fatigue? Do you think it's that colorway fatigue? Do you think people are just broke from buying so many other Preds at this point or other boots at this point?
Yeah, I think it's hard to get people excited. I mean, honestly, like everybody probably has 2 Predators by now. Like, if you really like Predators, you've got at least 2.
Yeah.
And I think a part of that is the impulse buying of like, if I don't buy them now, they're going to be gone, and so that's going to get you a pair regardless of whatever colorway. And then you probably got a colorway that you actually liked. You probably got a pair to get a pair, and then you probably got a colorway that you liked. And then Jude's came out, and it's like, do I really need a third pair?
Yeah.
Like nobody's sitting there on the fence of like, should I or should I not? They would have gotten it by now.
Yeah.
And so and now if you're as locked in as people that are watching this podcast and you know about the 25, and so it's like, I'll wait.
Yeah.
But and then the second part to what I think it is I don't think a lot of people are. I mean, there are some people that are diehard, love their black boots. I just think. I mean, I'm not in that category, so I can't speak for everyone, but I feel like people aren't going to get as excited about a black boot, even with the gold elements, as they would for a different colorway.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I think it kind of plays all of them. I think that, like you said, people have already kind of. I've gotten some Preds at this point. I don't need anymore. And also, I don't know if you saw, but like a couple days before Jude's boots came out, I know ProDirect and like a couple other websites got full restocks of every colorway in tongued Preds. So I saw like the white and pink ones get restocked. I saw the pearls and the night strikes or whatever they called them the second time. I saw the Japan blues got restocked and the vivid ones. So it's like a lot of people are like, oh, snap, I can finally get some. And I think that those people spent that money. And by the time the Jude boots came out, it was like, oh, I already have them, like you said. And again, I mean, this is the third black and gold Pred we've seen.
Right. Yeah.
On this model.
I mean, with the signature B on there. What's funny is if everything got a restock, I thought those Vivid Horizon ones were like the best colorway of the Pred, probably of the year. Like, I really like that colorway.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
honestly,
I liked it a lot too.
I wish the Preds fit my foot. I mean, they do fit pretty well. It's just like literally it just kind of crunches up at the toe box, and that's the only reason I couldn't stick it out, because I did love my Predators.
Yeah, I would have gotten those Vivids if I didn't get the Japan blues, but I kind of have the Japan blues where it's like, oh yeah, those will be my regular ones, and then I have the Roteros, which they're in the background, so clearly they're going to be here.
Speaking of the MIGs, the main Germanies that you did get of the Japan Blues, we kind of I kind of skipped over this with the David Beckham Preds, but do you think that when they do release either these treefoil boots or like next year, that they're going to do a actual Pulse David Beckham remake to kind of coincide a modern release?
I think it'll depend on. I think if they do a Pulse, like if you were like, hey, these trefoils are David Beckham ones, I could see them doing like the fingerprint Pulse because it's kind of the same colorway. But if it's the white and pink ones, the white, pink, and black ones, then I don't know if they'll do a Pulse. They might do something else, or I mean. I'm trying to think. I still think that they need to do a power swerve. Like, if you ask me, I think that's one that needs it the most. But the problem that I think that Adidas has kind of got into, and our friend group, we kind of go back and forth with this, is some people under the mentality of basically like, if it wasn't an OG colorway, then it doesn't sell as well. And supposedly that's what Adidas has said. And I'm under the feeling, whatever, that impression is that it's not that it's because it's not an OG colorway that's not selling. It's because they're kind of ugly colorways that aren't selling. You know what I mean? Like, look at that. What was that pack called? Hyperlative Accelerator. It was like the blue, the black, and the Volt. Like, okay, that never existed. We know that. But you look at that and then compare that one to the EA Pulses, black, white, gold. What do you think? The black, white, golds didn't sell out? No, of course they did. They sold out instantly, and I know because I got a pair.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's those sell out, but then and then they're like, well, the Beckham Precision, the pluses and the point ones, and I'm like, yeah, I guess I can see that a little bit, but my kind of pushback to that is, well, it's because it's calf leather. I think that that really put people off.
Yeah, it was calf leather promoted as being like the top tier. I think it was over $300. Was it three? It was
No,
$350.
it was $285. So they brought the price down. They did bring the price down for that one. Yeah. That was the first one. But that's what I'm saying. So it's just like certain ones that we compare and contrast. Like if you want to get even more, like compare the Champions League blue pulses to the EA black and gold pulses. Like which one do you think instantly sold out?
The black.
The black and gold did. I mean, the blue sold out too because it was the first one. But that's what I'm saying. So I'm kind of under the impression where it's just like depending on which colorway you do, it can work even if it's not an OG colorway. But you have to it has to be a good boot. Like these ones above me, these LZs, these are like probably the worst remake out of all the remakes. And it's not because of the colorway, because everybody loved the colorway. It's because the boot was kind of done half-assed and shittily. It doesn't fit very good. It's really thick and awkward. So, like, if this would have been, like, an OG LZ1, these would have sold out instantly, too. So, that's kind of where I'm at.
Right.
So, I could see them. I don't know if they'll do a pulse for sure to answer your question. It just kind of depends on what colorway comes out and then what boot. I think they'll do a pulse just because that's the model closest to this 25. That's why I think they did the MIG Manias, because they're the closest to the 24.
I just think it's just if they like let's say like this November 7th comes out, they do these like white blue treefoil logo Fusionskin pret, which is like in itself like an incredible release. If they release remake pulses at the same time, it's just like God, like they're just it's almost too good where there's no room to breathe. You know what I mean? Like I know our buddy Mike, I think he's the one. He has all 3 MIGs. And I sent him a message, and I was like, "Dude, that's almost like $1,000 on your floor right there, you know." And he does a lot of like reffing on the side, so he gets money for boots that way. But I could not imagine like if you're already somebody that likes remakes and likes to collect, and you have those 3 boots, and then you have like another pulse, and then it's like if I want that, but I also want this nice Fusionskin like pred as well. It would be insane.
Okay, so I totally agree with what you're saying, but you also have to add a lot of caveats to where, like, look at somebody like, okay, so Mike, he has those 3, and you're like, wow, that's almost $1,000, okay? Then look at somebody like Trev, who's like me, he gets 2 of everything. So you have that on top of that. Then, like you said, he's gotten almost every colorway because he likes the pred, that's his thing. Cool. The only thing is that I'm going to say that I don't think that they'll release a remake if this is Fusionskin is because the Rotero is Fusionskin. It's inspired by a specific pulse colorway, and they didn't do it.
Gotcha.
So part of me thinks that when they do something special like the Fusionskin Rotero, or if this treefoil one is Fusionskin as well, they want that to be the focus. They want that to sell out. They don't want you to even... They don't even want to look at remakes right now. We'll hold off for that for right now. We want you to focus on this boot and get this boot.
That's a great point, man. That is brilliant. Like that's
really kind of where I'm at. I think that the treefoil, like I said, if it ends up being Fusionskin, which everybody, I need to point this out to everybody so everybody can see what we're talking about. Because when you put the picture, okay, so everybody, the spot you have to look at is right here. When Colby posts that treefoil, it's kind of hard to see, and I'm going to try to like move the light, but you can like see these creases right here. When he posts that treefoil picture, look at it right there because you can see the white, and like same thing with the toe box, there'll be like some creases right here, and only the Rotero does that. So that's what y'all all have to look at. I'm sorry it took me so long to say that.
No, it's all good. Dude, that explanation about why they wouldn't release both at the same time, using that as an example, like that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And I think I'm thinking this is what they'll like kind of end the year with. Well, look, they'll not end the year with it, but this will come out, let's say November, right? It might be like the last big bang before we get a like launch of the Pred 25.
Yeah, and I think you're right because I think that they'll kind of let it right off in the sun. They saw the popularity of the Rotero, and the Rotero came out midway, basically. So I think this is a way for them to be like, let's give the 24 a last hurrah. Everybody can celebrate it. We know you guys love the leather. And then it's like, okay, let's pivot now, and here's the 25. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah. Awesome, man. That's brilliant. It's brilliant marketing. Man, you should be marketing for Adidas, dude.
Dude, I could do it.
Genius.
I could talk out of my butt and I could market it to anybody, and
There
I'd
you
give
go.
them banger colorways too. All right, Colby. Well, that's pretty much everything I have for the boots. Lately, I've been coming with the jerseys. You have been coming with these kind of quick fire, not really quick fire questions for us because we don't answer them very fast. So, what is the question of the week?
My question of the week, it's kind of just a general curiosity question, and please leave your comments on this question. But do you think that AG boots are gaining in popularity? Like, do you think people are more aware of AG boots in general and would rather wear them in terms of like safety, even if they're playing on like outdoor pitches?
I think.
And I'll give you kind of how I got to this this question for this week is
Okay.
I'm testing out like these messy boots, right? And I'm wearing
Yes.
them probably like the first 20 minutes of my pickup, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, I'm really and this is a neutral sole plate, mind you. Like this
Mm-hmm.
isn't too bad, and I'm just like, man, I'm getting a lot of bite here. Like I'm kind of like, you know, the old knees are aching here, and so like at the water break, I reach over and I grab my like I've been playing in my Tampa Legend 5s, like the HG stud pattern, and
Yeah.
it's just so much like more comfortable, I guess I should say, like when I'm like moving around, and I'm like, man, should I be getting like more AG versions of shoes?
Probably. I think you
Yeah.
should because you like to play on both surfaces. So the way that I'll say it is I think people are aware of them. I think that most people don't care about them unless they've been injured before.
Ah, okay.
I think that's kind of like the little insert parentheses you have to put because like my cousin has torn both of his ACLs. He still plays on turf and he still wears FG boots, but he'll only wear full conical. So right now he's wearing the Tony Cruz remakes. Okay, my buddy Ranger tore his ACL in a pair of Adidas X16 pluses, 17 pluses because it was the pure speeds, and they have a similar sole plate to the Messies. But he's like, oh, those half moon, I can't do it. So now he only wears Asics boots because it's totally conical. You are weird. You like to pretty much wear only conical. We have other friends that we talk to that like to wear conical. Neymar's massive. Remember? Neymar got hurt and then he switched to AG boots. So I think people are more aware of them, but I don't think people. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where like it's not a problem to you until it's your problem.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's a great point, man. You're just on, dude.
I'm telling
the
you,
explanations tonight.
I'm like
are
a guru.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You literally just like blew my mind. Yeah. The reason I like conicals so much is because I tore my ACL in vapors like more than 10 years ago, and so
Yeah.
I've kind of shifted to that ever since.
Yeah, exactly. And like I never knew about boots and AG boots until I started watching, like J Mike a lot more religiously, and then Josh, and they kind of spread the words like, hey, like this is not really safe and per se, but yeah, it's unfortunately it's like one of those things. Like I have friends that ride motorcycles and they don't wear a helmet, and then something tragic happens to either them or a loved one, and then they start wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how they are. Like they will not wear helmets until it's kind of their problem. So yeah, that's where I'm at with AG boots.
All right, man. That's so good.
Thanks, bro. I
Yeah,
try.
that's brilliant. Yeah, and I'll put on top of that, I go to a lot of soccer practices with my son. We practice on a turf field, and there are a lot of parents who will only put their kids in like the little kid turf shoes.
Yeah,
and then
for
there's
sure.
some parents that are like, yeah, whatever, like send them out in like Mercs and stuff. And I'm kind of in between where he's wearing like he's wearing the Copas right now, so they're kind of like half conicals, but those little kid studs are like, they're like that
Oh,
long,
for
dude.
sure.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter at this age.
I let my oldest kind of have his pick and say, but like we play on a field by our house when it's just the two of us, and we both wear FG. But I do. Okay, before we sign off, Halty just put out a video, and you guys need to go check him out. It's Halt's Boots Reviews. But he just did a video of that Predator 2G 3G sole plate, which looks like almost like a turf boot but longer studs and plastic molds instead of like the rubber. And I would really like to try that out and like directly compare it to my Predator turfs and like see like, oh, is this actually worth it or not?
Right. Yeah, that would be that's an interesting thing in itself. Is it kind of like the MG that like Puma does, where it's like just like a bunch of little?
Yeah, yeah. Like think of like the old, like you remember the Ace when the Ace first came out, it had like 1,000 studs. Okay, imagine that, but they're all the exact same length.
Yeah,
It's a
I
really
guess.
weird looking sole plate. It really is a weird looking sole plate.
Yeah, it's almost like we're just getting too many options, man. That's
Yeah,
my thing.
for
It's
sure.
like let's just do AGFG and then turf. Like the more like the MG stuff, like I don't know.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm with you. I'm like, let's do FG, AG/HG, turf, and then indoor, and we're golden. Let's sit. So, oh, and then SG, but we don't wear that in Texas.
Yeah, we don't mess with those.
All right, Colby. Well, tell the people where they can find you this week.
You guys can find me at Kicking with Colbs on YouTube and on Instagram.
You can find me at Texas Cleat Collector on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And hopefully next week, I will have the Predator MIG review up on my YouTube page, and we'll talk about it then.
All right, can't wait,
Cool.
man.
All right, man. Well, you guys leave us a comment, smash like, smash subscribe, smash bells. I had a couple people actually tell me they did that, so I was so happy to hear that. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about the AG stud patterns. If you have anything that you want to talk about, let us know in the comments below. And until next week, see you guys later.
All right, thanks, guys.